Welcome back to the channel, golfers. Today's round is a bit of a change from the current cold climate in the UK. I took a trip to Phoenix, Arizona last month and had the privilege to play a number of rounds with Steve from Swing Tweaks and Adam from Not a Scratch Golfer. This is the first round we played together and it was at Whirlwind Golf Club. We're playing the Devil's Claw course from the Gold Tees, so it's a 6,487 yard par 72 course. You'll see as we go through the round, these desert courses don't have loads of rough areas. They have lots of sand and rock areas instead. I was advised to bring a rock club in case I found myself in these areas and didn't want to ruin my actual clubs. So keeping the ball in play is key to keeping your scores low. Let's head over to the first tee. The first hole then is a par 4. The little hole overviews here that you'll see before the holes will have slightly longer yardages just because they go from the back tees. We're playing from one up from the back tees, the Gold Tees, so this is playing at about just under 400 yards. And the only real danger being the fairway bunker sort of halfway down on the right hand side there. And obviously with me taking driver, this brings that right into play. And the ball's just like a magnet, and obviously it ends straight up in that bunker. Welcome to Phoenix. This leaves me nearly 200 yards to the green, so I'm just hitting 7-iron out of this bunker just to get me as close to the green as I can, really. And this leaves me a 120 yard shot into the green, so I'm hitting 9-iron. This is a fairly simple shot, but I've just pushed this right. Pretty good distance, it's just missed the green on the right side. So chipping towards the pin with my 50 wedge, this is probably my textbook shot. I did practice this a little bit before starting, so hoping to rely on this somewhat today as usual. Here's two clips of Adam and Steve just been automatic with their putting. And then me dropping that for a bogey. The second hole then is another 400 yard par 4. Again, we've got fairway bunkers down the right hand side and one to the left of the green. You can see what the sort of land around the rough areas of these courses look like. It really is very difficult to hit out of there, hence the rock club. This tee shot again is arrowing straight for the bunker. Luckily I don't think I had the distance to get there, and it's left me a 5-iron towards the green. Hitting out of this Bermuda grass is something I've never done before either, and it grabs quite a lot, making the contact quite difficult if you miss the ball. I've overcooked this one slightly though, and I'm having to chip back towards the green with the 60 wedge. This shot's really good, it's just a little bit to the left, but does give me a chance of making par. These greens though are absolutely frightening the hell out of me. Having spent probably 20 minutes warming up on the putting green, I couldn't believe how fast they were. The other two that I'm playing with just not fazed by them at all. The third then is the first par 5. That says 593, but it's not quite that long from where we're playing. And again, just trying to keep this ball in play and hit the first decent drive of the round. Just down the left hand side of the fairway there, missing the bunker. This leads me 336 yards in, so I'm just hitting 3 wood as close as I can. And again, flush that one quite well too. And that leaves me a 7-iron into the green. So close, yet so far. Unfortunately, just missed on the right hand side and ended up in the bunker. I suppose you can't come to Phoenix and get your fix of the sand, so that's exactly what I'm doing. But that's a good shot out and does give me a chance of making par. And I had the line, I just didn't have the pace this time. So it's another tap in for another bogey. The fourth then is the first par 3. Not much danger around the green really, just how close can you get it. So hitting 5-iron, we're struggling with distance a little bit. And I slapped at this a little bit, but it actually worked out really well.
What did you hit there? 5.
Adam was a little bit further away than me from the pin, but I just wanted to demonstrate how good this man is at putting. Like, he's a long way from the green there, and he just rarely doesn't 2-putt. You can see I'm much closer, and actually leave it further away from the pin than Adam did. But luckily I get the putt coming back and get my first par of the day. The fifth then is another par 4. This time we've got bunkers on the left and the right before a stretch into the green. So probably just trying to keep my ball out to the left here, knowing that it will likely slice back into the centre of the fairway. And that's exactly what's happened. I've caught this very heely and it's not gone particularly far. But it means I can hit a 3-wood straight over these bunkers towards the green. And the 3-wood working really well for me today so far. Connecting with that probably better than I thought I would. Leaving me chipping on. And I think the speed of the green just unnerved me here. I tried to catch the fringe, but I sort of bladed or fatted it a little bit and it rolled onto the green. It's a good line on the putt, but again, just cannot get the pace of these at the moment. And luckily I managed to get that one coming back. So another bogey on the card. The sixth then is another par 5. Danger on the left and then quite a few bunkers around the green. But should be fairly attackable if you keep the ball in play. So I sort of start this over that left bunker knowing that it will likely come back, and that's exactly what happened.
No, I don't.
And it means I've got 320, which means I've got 3-wood out again. And again, just sort of pumping this down the fairway, getting it as close to the green as I can. And this leaves me another 7-iron into a par 5 green.
Ooh, that's a great
But this one is right on line. Much better than the last par 5.
Oh, that could be good.
And does leave me with a birdie putt. It's a little bit uphill, I don't know if you can see from the camera angle. And that's really tested my ability on these greens, and you can see that's a long way short. And means now I've got a tester for par. And yeah, if you're going to 3-putt, you might as well blame the greens or the putter or the ball, anything but your inability to actually putt well. And unfortunately, I come off that hole with a bogey, and that feels like a missed opportunity. The 7th then is a par 3 over water. This is a great looking hole. And I wanted to show you both Adam and Steve's tee shots on this. Steve being a 2 handicap, and I think Adam was about a 7 when we were playing. Just to show you the difference, obviously I'm a 15. Steve's gone straight at the pin. And even though you can't see through my back, he was very close. Adam with a very similar shot shape to Steve, a very nice draw. He's just not caught all of that. And misses the front edge of the green. And me going with 7-iron, I've chunked this. It's gone straight as a die.
Go hard.
And just
Yeah.
made the bank on the other side. But yeah, the 7th was a really nice looking par 3. But this has left me with a 50 wedge onto the green. Looking to catch that front edge and run it up to the pin. And I've just pulled this a little left. Just give me a look at par though. And I've just missed this on the left side. That means I've got another tap in for bogey. But the scenery around this course was really, really something special. Hard to be mad when you're playing in conditions like this. The 8th then is another par 4. This one's quite short, around 300 yards. The only real danger being the fairway bunkers on the right there, and then the bunkers around the green. So I took 3-wood and just kept this left of the bunkers. This has left me a pitching wedge into the green. And this one felt really good. Adam and Steve corroborating that for me. And I've actually got a legitimate chance at birdie here within the first 9 holes. And it just wouldn't turn. Steve had a few looks and Adam had a few looks at this point as well, but that was my first look at birdie and none of us had been able to make a birdie. So on to the 9th then. This is a longish par 4, or at least a longish par 4 for me, with a split fairway and a forced carry there that you can see. So we were told to go down the left hand side. So Steve taking 3-wood, takes aim down the left and puts it exactly where he's looking. Apparently taking this fairway would make the hole significantly shorter. Adam doing the same with driver, picking a line and executing it fantastic. This is what single digit handicappers can do. So I step up with driver and aim to do the same. However, My slice is not allowing that today. And even though I've aimed for the left fairway, I've ended up on the right. It's in play though, and it means I've got a 3-wood shot into the green. And golf's a funny old game. Steve and Adam were in a good place on that left-hand side of the fairway, and both of them missed the green. I'm miles away, hitting a 3-wood, and I was the only one to make the green in 2, I think. Leaving me a longish putt for birdie though. And again, I've overhit this somewhat, but it is an achievable par putt that I've managed to drop. And out of the 3 of us, I was the only one to come off this hole with a par. So it's small wins, but I'll take that. So halfway through and I'm 6 over par, shooting a 42 on the front 9. Looking back at this, I'm very pleased with how I did because I was really struggling with the pace of these greens. They were by far the quickest greens I played on, and I didn't really feel like I had the touch for them. It was very easy for me to either leave the ball a long way short or smash the ball a long way past. That said, I could have scored 82 on the front 9. Playing in this climate with great company, on a course like this with views like you can see, the day was never going to be ruined by a high score. So let's see how I fared on the back 9. So on to the 10th, this is a 400 yard par 4. Again, similar with fairway bunkers down both sides. Looking to carry on sort of the same momentum I've had on the front 9. Taking driver here. And it's not a great start to the back 9, I'll be honest. I've sliced this out to the right hand side, so I'm in the Bermuda grass. And I cannot even get this 8-iron airborne out of this stuff. It was on a slopey lie. And then annoyingly I've missed the next recording. But essentially all I did was take a 50 wedge and just pop it over that tree. So this has left me a 9-iron into the green. And similarly to the 9-iron on the first hole, I've just pushed this right a little bit. This time it has left me putting though. And as Steve had said, I've massively overhit that one. Leaving me a very tough double bogey putt, which I've left close. And Adam says there, he's jinxed me on the tee. I'd not done anything worse than a bogey, I don't think, on the front 9. And I start the back 9 with a triple. The 11th is a fairly simple par 4. Just over 400 yards. And again, taking driver and just trying to keep this one in play. This one's much better. Decent distance for me and nice and in play. Leaving me a 3-wood towards the green. This one's sprayed out just to the right a little bit. But as long as it's up near the green, I can't be too bad. Left me chipping onto the green. I probably carried this a yard too short. If I'd caught the front edge of the green there, I think it would have rolled a lot closer to the pin. But it's a tough shot. And at least I'm putting. And I've given that one a real go. And can tap in for a bogey. The 12th then is another par 3 over water. With a forced carry, this one's about 200 yards and lots of bunkers near the right hand side there. So it means I need to take a 3 hybrid for this. I've caught this relatively well, but it's just again gone right like a lot of my shots do. But it's stayed out of the sand and means I can chip a 60 degree wedge onto the green. And that's gone pretty well and left me with a somewhat makeable par putt. But the reeds on these greens have got us tied up in knots. And Steve gives me that one. The 13th then is a 360 yard par 4. You can see there's a lot of fairway bunkers as you get closer towards the green, but just the one bunker in front of the green. So looking to try and keep this out of the bunker off the tee. I started it down the left and unfortunately it's just turned too much to the right. And as usual, ended up in the sand. Me and Steve had a big discussion about this shot, but I ended up taking just a club up and just aiming for the pin. And this one went really well, landing nicely in the middle of the green and giving me a birdie putt. A longish one, and one I'm just looking to really get close to the flag. And I'm finally starting to get a feel for these greens. And that's a fairly stress-free par. The 14th then is a 170 yard par 3, big bunker on the left there, and one on the right, so really the miss is short right if you're going to miss. So I just took a club less really that was going to get me to the front edge of the green and aimed for the right hand side, and that's exactly what's happened. I've ended up on the front edge of the green. It means I've got an unlikely birdie putt, but it means if I leave it close it should be a fairly stress-free par, and that's exactly what it's ended up being. So well managed hole that one, I feel. The 15th then is a 500 yard par 5, few fairway bunkers down the right, and then one in front of the green. But again, the scenery around this course was spectacular. Arizona really is a fantastic place to play golf. So taking driver off the tee, and unfortunately this one's gone a long way right. I was hoping I would find it and just be able to use my rock club, but actually it was thick bushes over there and I've ended up having to take a drop. And you can see from the state of this Bermuda grass, you can barely see your ball once you've dropped it. So I've just sort of hit this 7-iron as hard as I can, hoping to end up in the fairway, and actually it's flown a little bit further than I thought it would, and ended up in the rubbish on the left hand side. And whilst that might look like a normal bush, it was full of little spikes on it and absolutely shredded my arm.
Absolutely shredded.
However, this has left me a P wedge into the green, and not a great time to pick to fat your P wedge, and I find the only bunker in front of the green. It's a big boy, this one, so I'm taking 60 degree and trying to just splash this onto the green, which I managed to do. Not particularly close though, and leaves me a long putt for a double,
Good weight.
but the pace is well judged. That means I can tidy up for a triple. Second triple of the day. 16th then is another 400 plus yard par 4. Fairway bunker on the right and then a greenside bunker on the left there. And this is one of the better drives. I hit a really good one. This sort of almost carried past the fairway bunkers and left me a nice 7-iron into the green. I don't catch this one particularly flush. And it ends up being a bit short of the front of the green. Not a terrible place to be, but I was hoping to hit the green from there. Leaves me chipping with my 50 degree, which hasn't gone terribly. Adam again, deadly with his putter. Can I replicate the same? No. And it's little things like this that make you see the difference between yourself and sort of a single digit handicapper. Steve's game is fantastic getting towards the green. His putting's probably not his strongest, but it certainly doesn't lay him down. And Adam just sort of steady throughout all aspects of his game, but his putting really been the star. The 17th then is another 500 plus yard par 5. This one's got a forced carry as you get down towards the green though, so judging that distance is fairly key. So initially I just took driver off the tee, looking to miss the fairway bunkers, which I've managed to do. This has given me plenty of room to roll the ball up to the forced carry, so I've just hit 3-wood. This one's peeled a little bit right though, and means I'm in the Bermuda grass. So I'm hitting a 3 hybrid out of that towards the green, straight over the forced carry. And that's gone really well. It's actually left me putting, birdie putt. And you can see the ball just keeps on rolling on these greens, they're like ice. But finally getting a read on them and able to drop that one for par. On to the 18th then. Another 400 yard plus par 4. This one moving slightly right. So looking to start my tee shot over on the left side. Just not that far left. That's a dead ball, so I'm taking a reload. I get it right this time, only it doesn't cut back as much as I'd like it to. Bunker over there on the left that I've narrowly avoided, leaving me in an awful stance. But I actually connect really well with this 3-wood. Steve wasn't so sure that this was the play, but it went really well in the end. And leaves me chipping onto the green from the front edge. This type of shot is one I'm fairly comfortable with, but I've just not hit that hard enough. Left me a longish putt for a double. And I knew as soon as this came off the putter face that it was too long. It means that I have to tidy up for the third triple of the day to finish the round 18 over par.
Very fun.
So I finish up the round 18 over par. The back nine not quite living up to the same standard as the front, but that's fairly typical of my golf. Anyone who has watched my previous rounds will know that I'm usually good for a decent front nine and a worse back nine. Although I think it was silly mistakes really that cost me on this day. A couple of lost tee shots and poor course management decisions made up a good portion of those added shots. My putting wasn't the best either, but I'll forgive that considering it was my first time playing on greens as quick and as smooth as these. All in all though, as I said earlier, the score was never going to affect my enjoyment of playing in conditions like this. As always golfers, let me know what you think in the comments below. How do you deal with considerable changes in green pace from one round to the next? It's a skill I don't really have as it stands. I've got another 3 videos to come from this trip, so make sure you've subscribed and hit the notification bell if you want to see these when they're uploaded. Please also remember to hit the like button if you did enjoy the video. Thanks as always for watching golfers, have a great Christmas and New Year, and I'll see you in the next one.